TSM lost to P1! What's up, League fans, and welcome back to the Blame Game for Week 8 of the Summer Split Season 6. I'm Mark Z, former assistant coach and head analyst for Team Liquid, and each week after the LCS, I take a look at the top Reddit comments in the post-game discussion threads and decide if the blame there is justified or not. This week had a couple of crazy upsets, and we'll be looking at two of the hypest matches from those upsets. We'll start with probably the largest upset of the season in Team Solo Mid versus Phoenix1. The thread was a glorious, shit-filled meme fest, but there was one individual picking up a lot of blame for tilting, and that was Sven. He had the worst scoreline of the series, which makes him an easy target, but the question is, was he actually at fault? I don't normally like to tear someone down when they're getting praised, but I feel a little obligated to comment on Inori's play given the direct comparisons to Svenskeren. He had a number of teamfights he played well later in the game, and he had an interesting approach to Sven's early invade. He takes an interesting path in reaction to this invade, but I don't think it should have played out this way. Sven hesitates instead of just body slamming into Inori right away and then deciding to run or fight. This small delay results in his death as well as losing his flash. This is a huge gift to Rengar in the early game as it's basically a free path to 6, but Inori actually ends up flubbing his first two ultimates. Most Rengar mains will tell you that if you mess up your first two ults, you should be in deep trouble. Luckily for Inori, TSM was playing extremely bad this game, especially around bot lane. At 7:30 into the game, Bjerg roams topside for a kill. One of the most well understood concepts in competitive League of Legends is that when you make a play on one side of the map, beware the counterplay on the other. TSM has vision of the impending dive coming and even danger pings it, but they still don't back away properly and end up giving free kills. As the game continues, Hanser fails to dive and gives away a kill. Bjerg focuses on a kill instead of going for the bottom outer turret, and later all the lanes focus on a single kill instead of just once again going for the bottom inner turret. Game 3 starts off with a very intelligent first blood gank by Inori. He starts wrapping around Bjerg, who places a trinket ward in the river, so P1 decides to attack him from the side over the wall instead of trying to come from behind. Sven tries to flash body slam to save Bjerg, but Malzahar, who doesn't get stunned due to his passive, gets a final auto off to kill Bjerg and passes space aids onto Sven. Against most champions not named Malzahar, this might actually turn out to be a sweet counter gank from Svenskeren. Sven plays most of the rest of the game fine, but he still ends up leading the team in deaths due to his role on TSM. He's the aggressive enabler who always positions to start things off. And if things don't go well, he's usually the one who looks the worst for it, which was the case in Spring Split. At 16:30 into the game, he's able to make a move to help get his team back in the game, which usually players who are tilted don't do. Tilt to me is when a player makes dumb, thoughtless moves that are really hard to explain, and I didn't see that out of Sven. I didn't even really see enough individual mistakes for him to be the majority of the blame in the thread. The other topic we'll look at this week doesn't actually come from a game, but rather an interview after a game. Dardoch talked some smack at CLG, saying their win over them was a fluke and that Team Liquid was still the better team because they had the lead in that game. This caused Reddit to get into an argument, and someone specifically asked me to comment, so I'll chime in. I've got 2 points on the topic. First is that Dardoch's a cocky player who's not afraid to speak his mind. If you watch the clip, he's basically saying that he thinks his team is still the better team. CLG can have this win in the regular season, but he's still excited to face them in the playoffs. Given that it's the regular season, I think this is a fine mindset to have. He shows confidence moving forwards as well as giving some drama to the fans. The other question is, do I agree with him? And ultimately, yes. A team's ability to generate their own leads is one of the best identifiers for how skilled that team is. When I did my video on Energy versus Team Liquid last playoffs, this is the single largest reason that I said Energy had no hope versus Team Liquid, and it's because they couldn't get anything done on their own. In this series versus CLG, Team Liquid actually had gold leads and control all 3 games. They crushed game 1, they were crushing game 3, and game 2 was pretty close, but Team Liquid had a lead for a large portion of that game as well. Team Liquid is basically their own worst enemy at this point, but CLG was at their mercy hoping they'd mess up. I'd rather be the team generating leads and in control but sloppy than the one that's reliant on any mistakes to win. That said, Team Liquid mistakes are almost a given at this point, so I really hope these two match up in playoffs so they get to settle this. This week's High 5 Comment of the Week section is sponsored by Summoner's War, a free-to-play mobile turn-based strategy game. I accidentally deleted my account last week undoing a year's worth of work, but luckily I get to play on my girlfriend's account and she has an Annabelle. If you want to try the game out or just support me in the Blame Game, please click the link in the description below. It means a lot to me if you do. If you see me at the LCS and you haven't clicked the link, then I will not take a picture with you. The high five this week is from the C9 vs Envy thread and goes to, well, it's actually a comment chain. There's nothing quite like getting your own joke turned back around on you instantly. I only have one high five to give out, so Savico, Violent Alpaca, and Badger will need to fight it out for who gets it. Make your case in the comments section, and whoever has the most upvotes or whatever will get it. That's it for this week's episode of The Blame Game. We're heading into the final week of the regular season, and it's gonna be so hype. We get to see the battle for the 1 spot, as well as seeing how 3 through 6 shake out. I'll be there for all 3 days, so I'll catch you guys later. If you bump into me at the LCS, don't trust me with your phone for pictures. I'm gonna download Summoner's War on it first and then take the picture.